Yeah, let's get this going. Cool. Well, this is the 365 Message Center. We're talking compliance manager. We're talking new supervision capabilities for compliance managers themselves. There's an office.com default page start thing. Changes to Outlook Mobile. Let's roll the film. Roll the film. Should we roll the intro? It'll work. It'll have to work. Good morning, good now, good evening, good right now to you. This is Darrell as a service, and joined by Daniel. Daniel, tell me the home of. Yeah, if I can say, and actually, heck, I won't ask your permission. Poor guy, needed to get a glass of water before starting the show, and it just sounded painful every step. I'm sorry to hear that, So don't go standing at your desk for too long today. Yeah. You stood up for us. That's really nice. Thanks for joining us. We're doing something a little bit different. I'm playing around with a second camera today. So if you've noticed that there's something at the bottom right hand corner that says there's another view, I'm using a new GoPro that's live streaming an angle of what's going on in the studio over here. So if you're interested in that and you switch over to it, cool. And just remember, when you change back, you might have to hit the button that brings you back up to the live feed. It will go back to where you left off last time. So I know. Yeah, should I have that up on a slide? I'm sorry. Anyway, we should get on with it. There we go. We have a few messages. Now remember, this is still this preview of the new message center. I should actually share this with Daniel so he can see what's going on as well. Because we disappeared. There he is. He's back. So that's just a little insight into how we're doing this with Teams. I'm sharing the screen with him on a full monitor. Full screen there. Yes, we have I've got a few going on there, so we will start at the... look, there's even one that's come through this morning, so we'll have to have a look at that. Message center, yeah, we will. Those are those new cards. And we go into something that still looks like the current message center if you're not on preview. Come on, load, you know you want to. Yeah. Well, we've got three major updates, and so we'll call them out as we go through them. Sometimes they're major, sometimes they're not so much, but we'll get into that. What? Actually, this new update is not really a new update. It's something that's kind of been dropped back into the feed from the 28th of November. Remember that happened one time before? Yeah. No, well, it can't have been last week. It was 28th of November, but let's just open it up anyway. Given that it's at the bottom of the list, so I just thought we'd have a quick look at it anyway, because maybe they've reseeded it because there's something that's changed. We're releasing multiple updates to SharePoint News. No. Does anyone in our chat sort of kind of agree that this is old news? Sandy, Suzanne, Phil, Joanne? Oh, I do. You're going to say this is the reason why, Darrell, because then you don't have things popping. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, we've seen this, but things are still adding and arriving for news as well. So enjoy. And just as a last comment to try and make sure that everyone gets to have a go at creating news, because I think that's really the strategy around the news capabilities. You can create it on your team site. You can then sort of channel it through to a hub that bubbles that all up for everyone. She's just saying that because she's a Kiwi too, so she understands. She understands Kiwi craziness. Compliance manager's new experience. Are you a compliance manager? Do you have to keep across some of the things that happen in your organisation to make sure you are still compliant? We have a compliance centre in Microsoft 365, and what they're rolling together now is together with Secure Score. This is allowing you to have that score, and that's also going to reflect how compliant you are, not just how secure you are. Aside from that, it's also that it's all together in one place in the centre itself. So it should be easier for compliance managers to go glance through, quickly see how things are going. The secure scores are a good thing. I mean, have you had much experience with that, Dan? Have you run it in your own orgs or tenants? Yeah. Oh yeah. The next message is on a similar vein, really. It is about, in this one, supervisory solution for monitoring teams. So it's about compliance still, but that you've got new capabilities to monitor the compliance across teams conversations. So if you jump into the detail with that, whoopsie daisy, now we're showing the right thing on screen. Yeah, monitoring teams chat and channels sensitive information types. Like when you get that kind of information within an email, and it checks, oh, you're mentioning credit cards, you're mentioning something that shouldn't be shared. That sort of stuff's now available looking across Teams conversations. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yep, yep. So you may, as a compliance manager, have been having to glance through or have some kind of reporting process that filled that gap in the meantime. Again, it's about bringing that all together in one place so you can keep your organisation compliant. And with the information being presented to you, these new advanced filters help you to jump to see certain things that you're looking for, cases that you're looking for. And I've just, we have begun to start adding a adoption note or adoption comment to the messages that we talk about in here, because it will affect users, some of these messages. This one, I thought, well, not so much direct impact in that it's compliance managers that get to have a little more power, but the follow on, you may get a knock on the door or a knock on the desk to say, well, look, I've come across something here, and it's time to brush up on your etiquette there or whatever. Moving right along, we have now this is something that it's I don't know whether it's repeated here because we need to know about it. It's considered a major update. Came through also as all major updates do, as an email partway through the week. A reminder to say that your office.com start page is going to be changed back to the default. How do you feel about the start page, Daniel? It's come a long way, hasn't it? Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. 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 Yeah, well, and I'll repeat a question here. And Sandy Usia said, do many people start on the start page? I always start with my shortcut directly to SharePoint or Planner or whatnot. And that, I'll go back to your point that, the start page was pretty bland earlier. It was a bunch of tiles and then it was tiles plus something else. But some of us, maybe we start our day in our open conversation tool Yammer and we want to sort of read up and see what everyone's talking about. Some of us got into checking Delve daily. Um, yeah, I mean, I remember Satya saying, he started his day in Delve when I guess they were trying to help promote it, but I never really found it that super useful if I was going to start my day. What's everyone been writing in their documents about? But to that point, some of us have changed what our start page looks like, and we may prefer to change it back for that reason. I think the start page is becoming richer, but I think there's one more motivation behind starting you on that start page with your apps, with your recent documents, and to an extent some of the Delve content there too. What has everyone else been doing? The promotion of Microsoft Search as a start page. That box is there, and your capability to search across your whole org is being built up even more, and that's where you can do it. Mm. Mm. Oh yeah, yeah. Mm. Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Around, of course, the thought around adoption here, if you do have people that are using a different start page, then of course their experience is going to change. The note here says that it is going to start happening, rolling out in March, but there's no specific date range that's given, like in some of the other, where it says it's going to begin in March and finish by the end of April. It's just going to start happening. But we do see that there will be more information given when we get close to the time. But it would pay to start telling your people that, if you've got a start page that you start in SharePoint, YAML, or wherever, then it's going to change back to Outlook.com. Yeah. Office.com. Well, actually, that's another point, isn't it? Some people start in Outlook.com. Yeah. Yeah, a couple of good comments there again too. Like, Joanne was saying, Dean, questions about UI seems a bit odd to maybe preview a few. We always have browser pointing at the internet homepage. Yeah, so that's often a customary thing. Oh yeah, hey, are you using the Outlook mobile app, the new one? That went GA, right? So that's not in the message center, but it's now generally available. Are you using it? Yeah, quite pretty crisp and clean. I quite like it. But something appeared partway through last week, which I saw, of course, the conversation on Twitter and social media was, what are these new mail tips? These yellow bands along the top of when we're crafting emails. You seen them a few times? Yeah. Mm. 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 Oops. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. It's not an intrusive. It's not an intrusive cue. It's there. It's clear. I think it's really helpful because Outlook, desktop and mobile app and wherever, if you've got a long list of people, it tends to concatenate the display of it. So it says, and 53 other recipients. You're not going to click that button to expand that list of participants and quickly scan through every time and see. Even less so on your mobile because, you... Mm. Well, that'd be another good one. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Mm. This is the yeah. Well, this is the first mail tip that's targeted at external recipients, but I expect that because the capability is there now, there'll be that one. Hey, do you realise that you're emailing the whole company? Hey, do you realise that you've put your credit card number in there? That sort of stuff. Hey, check out this message though. Like in the message, and this is one of the very few I've seen where there's a screenshot and the actual message. Shall I like it? Should I like it? Yeah, I like it. I like it. Yep. Like. Yeah, yeah. And then it actually... Yeah. I think yeah, yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It actually makes me want to click through and read some of the additional information as well, if I wanted to find out more. Um, yeah, it's there we go. So it's well, I mean it's here. That's the other thing. It's a bit weird though. I mean the date says that it's interesting way of rolling it out. They're going to roll out the setting, as they say. It's going to be turned off, and then on March the 4th they turn it on, so it's available for everyone. But I don't know how that actually played out because we certainly saw it last week, and I'm seeing it now. At any rate, it hasn't shocked me, but it's good to know that we've got some explanation around that. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. The adoption that I've dropped in here, explain what this thing is. All right, that's probably the best thing you can do. Let people know that this is a tool. That don't filter it out in your own mind as you glance over it. Go, oh, yeah, pretty yellow color. If you see it, then note it. So if you explain this purpose in your comms internally and across your org, then it's more likely to help people understand what it's governing and trying to help you with good behaviour. Yeah. Uh, this one, it's really, we've seen this quite a bit coming and leading up to it, but it's much closer to the time now, retiring of triple DS. And make sure that your TLS is the next level up too. Now this is really more about the retirement of triple Ds. If you're using any services that are leaning on this for encryption, you really should have a plan well underway to have some of this stuff replaced because it won't be supported in 365. The new version of TLS is also something they're moving to. However, they're not turning off the old version of TLS at this stage. It's just triple DS, so don't freak out. But you should have a plan underway for both, and certainly for triple DS. And security. So site activity web part. Yeah. Yeah. What? Hmm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. This that link is just through to what the activity web part currently looks like. Cards. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, the semantic or purpose of it is a bit different. I mean, I get that it's actually quite a useful tool at a glance. It's been a little while since I visited the site. What's changed? I can see it. If that's drowned out by 3 or 4 different important emails that have been sent over that period of time, and you're missing what activity has changed on the site, then that could be something of an issue. Just as we're talking about this too, I'm thinking, well, didn't we have something called Site Mailbox that used to actually show and display everything in the shared mailbox for the group, and that left. Kind of, is this, trying to hold the remnants of that and saying, well, maybe some of it would be useful. Mm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Yep. I wish I'd figured out how to do polls in live video for YouTube live events, because Joanne said, "Oh, look, I've never once used the site activity web part." One of the things that I think it was in the template, and you can remove it. So the poll I'd put out there is who actually uses it. There is, in other places you can see that site activity if you turn on your information panel. Could be helpful. Sounds like it. Does it have a few other views though? Because those cards, the cards. How many cards do you want to display? And yeah. Yeah, that's true. It'd be interesting if there is some other variation on that. I know. Oh, I'm going to rush through this next one because there is one other thing I just wanted to mention that was quite cool too that I picked up on. But this last message around changes to the speed at which PowerPoint and Word documents open up. So if you are go ahead, go on, but keep it brief. Mm-hmm. Mm. 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 That was my reflection too. Or the perception that it's been sped up is my reflection on this. First of all, if you are synchronizing a library or your OneDrive folders, and you've brought down that local copy, of course it's going to go and grab that local copy, and it's in sync. If you can see that, green tick and whatever, it's not synchronizing that. That behavior is not changing. It is more the content you haven't synced that we sort of don't appreciate this, but in the background there's that Office document center that does keep a cache. And I was reminded of again, it's actually up to 14 days. So if you've accessed a document there 13 days ago, it's got an older copy, and this announcement says, Word and PowerPoint will use that copy first, open up, and then you'll see the status bar that says, I'm grabbing you the freshest stuff. So the perception that you're picking up from where you left off faster, but you still can't, you've still got to wait until you see that freshest content come through. Yeah. Still, it's good, but you still have to train yourself to pause. Check. Yeah, my adoption note therefore is really just you're going to have to remember to check the status bar. Do pause briefly until you can see it's got the latest content. And as a support note, then IT pros and people on the support desk, just remember to if there are some weird version conflicts and stuff that go on here, to troubleshoot it from the document cache, which is down near the notifications. No, yeah. Mm. Conflicts. And you're like, hell yeah, there's a conflict. This is like conflict. This is conflict resolution. I'm going to resolve it. Yeah. Hey, to finish off, do you listen to the Intrazone podcast? Mark Cashman, Chris McNulty, among friends, and we've had some friends also that have been interviewed on that and had some good stories being told. It's been pretty awesome. Mark, well, at least I think it's that recent, started a new quick, he calls it the pit stop. So it is still the Intrazone show, but he's doing a quick roundup of all the SharePoint news and announcements across the month, whereas the Intrazone podcast can go for like an hour and a half or whatever as they really dive down deep. I quite enjoy it. But I love how Mark was taking that metaphor quite far. What he'll do, he'll go through and just quickly touch on some of the announcements and things, but he calls the topic or the product group or the feature a sponsor. And it took me a little while to get this because I'm like, hang on, who's sponsoring this podcast? What do you mean the sponsor? But go with me on this metaphor. What do you see when a driver gets out of a car? Well, look at their cars. What's it covered in? Yeah, yeah, that's it. So that's his metaphor. He's like, the topic today, the sponsor today is, and here's what we're talking about in this roundup, and then he zooms in through that, and he's got all cool little noises and makes a bit of sound effects himself. It's quite a cool little way to catch up. But I encourage you guys to subscribe to that because it's interesting, and keep an eye out for that monthly new pit stop that will keep you up to date with what's happening in SharePoint and associated linked services. Did you see anything interesting this week gone by? Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ah. Can that be changed? Yeah. Yeah. Can you remove the link that says click here to create your own? Oh dear. So if you're an org that hasn't... Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But if you want it on, you better have the governance in place and the settings so that you don't get a bunch of communication sites saying, "Oh, this looks pretty." Yeah. Mm. Yeah. 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 Oh, that's cool. Look, that's about it. Thank you everyone for tuning in. A couple of minutes over. Quick roll call there as we scroll up. If I missed you, I'm sorry. Thanks Joanne and Dean and Suzanne and Phil and Christine and everyone else. Oh, Daniel's in there too. What? Hang on. You're in there too. Thanks for joining in. And I should try and expose that chat on the screen occasionally too when I've got that organised. I don't know if you enjoyed the second camera view. That is there. And once the show's all wound up, it's going to appear as a second video. So if you're interested to see what I do in the studio trying to manage all this stuff, then feel free to check that out. Let's our people today. This was Darrell and Daniel tonight. No, 365 Message Centre. See you next week. Bye for now. Rolling. That's a quote from an old presenter in New Zealand. He had this quote. Oh yeah. I know that Suzanne Hunt will. Yeah.